Every great creative work stands on the shoulders of giants. Welcome to RetroInspection, where we examine and find out where the things we love today came from.
Had he survived a few more years, he probably would have ended up in Hollywood.
Not unreasonable. I mean, heck, he could have, if he'd had the connections, he could have, even at the time of his demise or even earlier. Hollywood starts poaching guys in the late 20s, but they usually went for big mainstream writers of what you would call respectable sort of novels, non-genre novels. Or the state or the New York State, for example. Yeah, right. Your Faulkners, your Steinbecks, but also they would go after playwrights, George S. Kaufman, Clifford Odets, guys like that, because that imputed a respectability to the screenwriting endeavor. Now, eventually, they move on to start with crime authors. I mean, that's moving for them down market a little, but of the genres, crime and mystery stuff is probably at the top of that heap in perceived respectability. So that's you're getting like James M. Cain, Raymond Chandler, Dashiell Hammett, briefly, like that. There were guys that obviously moved out of science fiction into being movie and certainly TV writers. But that's not until that's not until the 50s, and somebody like Robert Bloch takes off on TV.
So Howard was quite influenced by history, the history of the Picts and some of the, some Arab history. What about literarily? Who do you think did he look to, aside from the classics? Who inspired him to take up this swashbuckling kind of a sword and sorcery thing?
As far as the swashbuckling, let's just assume your older writers who wrote that kind of stuff. So a Robert Louis Stevenson, a Daniel Defoe, somebody like that. But obviously in the story we're going to talk about, there's a real obvious lift from H.P. Lovecraft.
And they were friends, right?
Never met. It was conducted purely through the mails. Lovecraft alone is supposed to have written like 100,000 letters within his lifetime, and he didn't live a hell of a lot longer than Howard. He was older, but I think Lovecraft does. When does Lovecraft die? I want to say Lovecraft dies like 37, 38. I could be full of it on that without checking. But they maintained like a kind of a circular correspondence with a lot of the Weird Tales guys. He would write guys like Clark Ashton Smith or somebody who was also working in there at the time along with Lovecraft. But you can definitely feel in the Tower of the Elephant, there's a definite Lovecraft influence.
Like, subscribe, repost, share everywhere. To see what else we're up to, visit xynobooks.com, xenobooks.com.